3.
This is a public service announcement. This is only a test. Emergency evacuation protest may impair your ability to operate machinery. Can't quite tell just what it means to me. Keep out of reach at you, then don't you talk to stranger. Get your philosophy from above.
Yeah, boy. Alright. So a projectile is any object. Oh my god. Is any object that can be launched or dropped and is in continuous motion due to the initial force and can be changed only by g, which is the downward influence of gravity, which is only an acceleration in the y direction. Alright, good direction. Like at all points in the pathway, like as soon as the ball is launched and as soon as it hits the ground and stuff like that. Throughout the whole entire time, the position of the X is always going to be changing until the ball finally stops in its motion. Alright, can you kick it, please? As you can see, the ball is increasing in the X direction because we'll say what Christian over there is at 0.0 and not over there is like 10, whatever. That doesn't matter. It's just a form of units. But we'll say the displacement of the ball is 10 because it's over there from there in the X direction. This is because there is like Christian's just kicking the ball and it's not like going back to him or anything, meaning that the X position is always increasing throughout the whole entire duration of the ball when he kicks it at all points on the paper. The X in the Y direction, I change it, it's gonna be much different. So right now, let's say Christian is at 0 and the Y direction is at 0. So Christian kicked the ball. So as soon as he kicks it up, it's increasing, and it's increasing as soon as it hits the peak, and its peak is the highest point in the Y direction. Now, can you kick the ball up again? So let's say that's the highest point. When it's coming down, the position Y is decreasing, and that's like it's decreasing, so it's going down. Let's say the highest point was like, I don't know, 32. So the highest point is 32, and when it comes down, it's obviously going back down, and that makes like a huge difference in the Y direction. So just to reiterate, as soon as Anand kicks the ball, it's increasing. On its track up, it's increasing. Christian, can you kick the ball again, please? And then it hits its highest point, and as soon as it's decreasing back down until it hits 0. And that's the Y direction of the ball. So, now I'm recording. Let's talk about the X velocity. Anand, can you kick the ball? Alright. So, ironically, the X velocity, the velocity of the ball in the X direction is always going to remain constant, because in this case there's going to be some sort of like, it's just there's no acceleration on it. Like, you know how a car speeds up by pressing the gas pedal? There is no gas pedal on this ball, therefore it's always going to remain constant in the X velocity throughout all points in the duration of the ball when it's being kicked. That's different. There are some like instances where it could change, in sense of wind and stuff like that, but the velocity is going to pretty much remain constant in this case, because that's how the projectile works in the X direction for most things. But the Y velocity is much more different. Alright, Anand, kick the ball. As soon as he kicks it, that thing is going extremely fast. It's going extremely fast, and that's pretty much like at its fastest point. Christian, kick the ball again. So when he kicks it, before it reaches its highest point, the velocity is technically slowing down if you think about it, because it's increasing and then it slows down and hits its highest point. And at the highest point, the velocity of the ball in the Y direction is 0. Unlike in the X direction, it's always going to remain constant. At the highest point, it's 0, and we learned that throughout physics. So Christian, can you kick the ball again? So after it hits its highest point, when it's coming back down, it's slow. It starts to come back down and it's slow. Let's wait for this, this goon to get the ball. Kick it, please. The ball hits, and as soon as it's coming down, that's when it's going fast again. It's increasing in magnitude. Of course, it's decreasing because the velocity is going in the negative direction, but that's just, how you prefer it. So pretty much, its fastest points are as soon as you kick it and as soon it's like before it hits the ground. And its slowest points are when it's like making its way towards the top and it's making its way towards the bottom. And of course, there is no velocity whatsoever when the ball is at its peak because it's 0. Alright, so today it's a pretty windy day, but it's not like a hurricane. So there is obviously going to be some air resistance when I kick this football, as you can see. Alright, I'm not really a football soccer player because it's not an American sport, but like there was air resistance when I kicked the ball. The wind was pushing it, and you know it did affect the projectile of the motion, and it did affect its pathway and stuff like that because the pathway is not going to be directly straight due to that air resistance. Now, initial velocity is very different because initial velocity basically determines how fast the ball is going to be going at its start. So if I kick it like this, it's like absolutely nothing, as you can see. But if you kick it like extremely fast, it'll go like much farther, as you can tell. It's so awkward. Alright, so finally, we're gonna be talking about range. Christian is all the way over there, and if he hits it at the ideal angle, it'll reach the ball over here to me. So kick it. That was close enough. He still got it over here, but that's it. Now, if I kick the ball like straight up, obviously the range is nothing. There's not gonna be much range at all. It's gonna kick straight up, and nothing's gonna happen to the ball. It'll just go up and down. But if you kick it at an inclined angle, of course something's gonna happen, depending on how much force and how much velocity you put into it, and what angle you're shooting it at. And that's it. All right, the final topic in this video is gonna be acceleration, because acceleration is pretty simple to understand because we live on planet Earth, and despite even if it's a flat shape, the Earth does have gravity acting upon it, and it's always being a downward force on, you know, the objects and people that we have. So G was calculated to be around 9.81 meters per second squared, of course, and kick it. And as soon as he kicks the ball, it's always going to be a downward force. It's always going to have a downward motion on the ball in the y direction, because that's how acceleration works on, in the y direction because of our gravity. It's always pushing it down, and therefore it's always going to cause, some sort of like changes in the y velocity. That's pretty much why the y velocity is going to change and the x velocity is not. So that's pretty much that.